Good morning, everybody. It's interesting to actually have a few humans in the room as opposed to just sitting at my desk staring at a computer screen. So good morning, and on behalf of CAAR, I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome you to the virtual CAAR 2022 installation of officers and directors meeting. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us this morning. And I'd like to say how much I have come to truly believe that being a member of our association, you're reaching for something higher in both profession and purpose. While we work for different companies, we support each other and our community through both good times and bad times, highs and lows. And inevitably, when a group of committed professionals comes together in this way, we form bonds of mutual respect, friendship, and caring with others in our association. Most of today's meeting is about looking ahead, a new year, a new executive leadership, things to vote on and changes. But for just a minute, I'd like to take a moment to look back. The last 2 years has been trying, and it's had moments of great triumph and some other moments that were deep loss. The vast majority of us have lost someone we've cared about, either directly or indirectly from the pandemic. And today I'd like to remember a few of those names that were our partners, our other associates, and our friends. There are Martha Campbell of Nest Realty Group, Bob Kahn of Bob Kahn Realty and Investment, and Justin Kent of Real Estate 3. If you would all join me to just have a few moments of silence in honor and remembrance for these, our peers and our friends, and any others that you may have lost in the last 2 years. Thank you. So to begin today's meeting, I would invite you all to stand. I can't tell if you're standing, but we'll pretend you are, but I can see these guys, and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, which they have fortunately written down so I can't mess it up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to invite CAAR past president and 2022 Virginia Realtors president, Denise Ramey, to come join me and offer words of welcome.
Thank you, Quentin. Good morning, everyone. I had the opportunity to participate in 3 installations today, and I chose this one. For one reason: you guys are my family, you guys are my people, and I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in without all of your support. So I didn't think I was going to get emotional about it. So I just wanted to say thanks to many of you who helped encourage me along the way. One of whom is in the room, Percy Montague. Dave Phillips, who many of you may remember was our CEO when I first became a realtor, and he pulled me in and encouraged me to get involved. Carol Clark, Pat Jensen, who we all miss. I was telling Pam and Quentin earlier that I still have the tiara that Pat gave me on the day that I was installed as CAAR president. Pat Surrey, Barb McMurray were big encouragers of me getting involved. Trish Owens, Michael Guthrie, Pat Jensen, as I mentioned, Pat Whittam, Ann Gardner, who was our former CEO, Abby, who's always been a tremendous source of support for all of us along the way. Tiffany Van, who is my RPAC friend. We had a lot of fun over the years working on CAAR RPAC together. Kim Armstrong, who I love and appreciate all of her support. Allie, Quentin, who is now part of the Virginia Realtors Board of Directors. So I'm excited to serve with him in 2022. Arlene Yobbs, who's been so supportive and such a great cheerleader. John Ince, Rachel Foster, Tom Pace, and many, many more of you. So if I forgot your name, it's not because you weren't important to me, but those were the people who I've had a lot of fun working with CAAR over the years. So thanks for that indulgence. Thank you for allowing me to join in your celebration and the installation of your officers and board of directors. I'm honored to be here representing VAR, our leadership team, and the 37,000 realtors around the Commonwealth of Virginia. In these current times, as Quentin said, we find ourselves facing a lot of unknowns. and not knowing when the pandemic will finally end and or how it may continue to impact our business affects our lives every day. We also are facing some challenges with the Department of Justice investigation into our business practices, our real estate commissions, and the buyer agent role. That's causing a lot of concern for people around the country, and obviously for our business, it's something we need to be mindful of. Government regulations that impact builders and developers affect our business every day. When will the supply chain issues that are impacting our business be resolved? So during times like these, the need for strong leadership is more important than ever. And it takes a special type of leader to step up and take the lead when times are challenging and uncertain. And I commend Pam and the leadership team on your commitment to serving your association and our industry, and thank Quentin and his leadership team for their service over the past year. As many of you know, NAR and VAR were formed over 100 years ago. We celebrated our 100-year anniversary with VAR 2 years ago, and we couldn't really celebrate because we were all at home on Zoom. But hopefully you'll be there January the 12th for our celebration, albeit delayed in Richmond. What we do at the State and National Association is all about you, our members, and your business, and about our clients and their property rights and your ability to buy or sell a home. According to our economists at NAR and VAR, we are in the middle of a once-in-a-generation housing market. We have the lowest inventory levels we've seen since 1980. Last year, 10% of people made sight unseen offers versus 2 to 3% previously. Unfortunately, or fortunately, tenure in people's homes is at an all-time high of 10 years, and that's exacerbating the inventory issue that we're all experiencing. First-time home buyers dropped to a 33-year low in 2020. Only 31% of homes were sold in 2020 to first-time home buyers. It was as high as 50% prior to this once-in-a-generation market we're experiencing. We are constantly fighting increased government regulation and the impact fees that drive up the cost for our builders and developers. We as professionals need to ensure that during these crazy times when we have multiple offers and crazy things happening in our business, that we maintain high professional and ethical standards every day. The market will return to some semblance of normalcy in the future, and we want to make sure that we maintain our reputations with our clients and with our colleagues. What are we working on at VAR? Virginia Realtors has done a great job establishing itself as the voice of real estate in Virginia with regard to home sale data and its impact on the economy. And we continue to increase the research and reports that we produce to assist you and our clients every day. They're also valuable, that data, to the media and to our industry partners, and also to lawmakers to help them understand how important our business is and the economic impact that it has on our economy. As of 2021, Virginia Realtors is producing monthly home sales reports, which hopefully you guys are using with your clients and to position you as the experts in your business. We're also producing monthly reports for 9 local associations, including CAAR, and we're producing quarterly home sales reports for 18 local associations. In 2021, we also launched our quarterly commercial and multifamily reports. So hopefully that's helping our members in that aspect of our business. Many of you, I'm sure, have participated in our chief economist, Lisa Sturdivant's updates on Facebook Live. She's going to continue to grow our impact in providing the research and insights that help inform the efforts and decisions of so many critical players in our business. I hope that you tuned in to watch the governor's forum that we had earlier this year with Terry McAuliffe and Glenn Youngkin. The fact that both of those candidates were eager for the opportunity to address realtors in Virginia and answer our questions illustrates the prominence that our association has among the political sphere, both in the Commonwealth and around the country. Our government relations team works tirelessly to protect the business of realtors and the rights of property owners. So I hope you will work alongside our team to let them know what you're seeing within your local membership. We ask for your input every year as far as what our political agenda needs to be for the PPC at VAR. So if you're encountering challenges in your business, please let us know. And it might be something that we incorporate into the agenda for our legislative group next year. I also want to take a quick moment. I know I would be remiss, and Kim would hit me if I didn't talk about RPAC. At a time when so many of us are feeling the division and tensions in the political world, I hope that you as leaders will share the message that RPAC supports both Democrats and Republicans. We did not endorse a candidate in the governor's race this year because both candidates were supportive of all of the issues that we presented to them for the Realtor Party. The Realtor Political Action Committee gives financial support to all candidates who see the value in what we bring to the discussions about housing, small business, and property rights issues. If we lead with this message and encourage our members to invest in their business by contributing to RPAC, we can achieve incredible things for realtors in 2022. And I do want to give a shout out to CAAR. Abby and Kim reminded me this morning that you guys are at 59% participation. So kudos to CAAR that you are leaders around the state. Our goal is to be at 37% participation, and you are far ahead of that. So thank you for your support. We still need a few more. We're about 1,000 short around the state to get to 37%. So please encourage your peers who may not have invested to give their $15 or invest their $15. We're working hard to engage and include more of our members in our realtor committees, work groups, and leadership in Virginia. Over the past year, we created a diversity and inclusion presidential advisory group. They met monthly, and one of our members here from CAAR was a part of that DEI PAG, and that's Lisa Herndon, and we appreciate her efforts and her time that she invested in helping us move forward in this important issue. The PAG achieved some fantastic things, such as developing 2 toolkits to aid our local associations in their DEI efforts. One is a resource guide for local associations looking to diversify their association's leadership and membership. And the second toolkit provides tips for individual members who are looking to become involved in their associations but are not sure how. I also want to commend CAAR for winning the Fairhaven Challenge. We had more members take the Fairhaven class and the Fairhaven Challenge than any other association around the state. So kudos to Quentin for his leadership there, and thank you all who participated. Early in 2022, we'll be announcing several more new initiatives that will benefit our members. When we do so, I hope that you will help us spread the news by sharing them with your members and helping more realtors learn about the resources available to them. One common thing you've heard me mention more than once today is that we're here to serve you, our members. On nearly every email we send or every blog we produce, there's a contact listed. If you have questions or need more information, reach out. The staff at VAR is there to serve you, just like they are here at CAAR. Congratulations on your installation. I look forward to working with you throughout 2022 with Pam as one of our presidents around the state. We continue to work hard to help shape the future of real estate, as I know you do here locally as well. Protecting the interests of our clients is your priority. Protecting our members' business is our priority. So together, we at Virginia Realtors are here to serve you, and I wish you all a safe and healthy and happy holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. As this is our general membership meeting, we will move on to the approval of the minutes from our November GMM and annual business meeting. These minutes were included in handouts link within the event description for today's event and are also available in the Zoom chat window. Should you have any additions or corrections to the distributed minutes, please enter them in the chat. There being no changes, they stand approved as distributed. We couldn't be where we are without our partnerships and our sponsors, and they step up consistently and regularly to help us provide wonderful programming, both for these meetings and in education. This morning is brought to you courtesy of Virginia Housing, who is our presenting sponsor, and our event sponsors, Farm Credit of the Virginias and Real Estate Weekly. We value the professionalism, the service, and the support our affiliates offer to CAAR and its members on a regular basis. Since we are not able to visit with these sponsors in person, please review the handouts to learn more about these companies. At this time, I would like to invite our presenting sponsor, Frank Webster of Virginia Housing, to share a few words.
Good morning, CAAR. My name is Frank Webster, and I am your local business development officer for Virginia Housing, which you may know better as VHDA. But we did rebrand ourselves and change our name last year. So VHDA has become Virginia Housing. We're honored to be able to sponsor this morning's officer installation breakfast, although I am a little bit disappointed that we converted from a live meeting to a virtual meeting because I was really looking forward to seeing everyone in person this morning. I'd like to take a moment or two to tell you about a couple of different ways that Virginia Housing can help you and the ways that we promote affordable housing in the Charlottesville area market. And when Denise said, first-time homebuyer ownership had decreased, first-time homebuyer ownership is what we're all about, and we provide quite a few different perks and benefits and tools that you can implement and use in your business to help those first-time homebuyers get into the market and also to increase those numbers back up to where they legitimately should be. So we provide assistance from every angle to help make home ownership be more affordable for first-time homebuyers. In the area of helping borrowers come up with the necessary funds to cover down payment and closing costs, we offer down payment and closing cost assistance. In the area of lowering their monthly payments and making those be more affordable, we have lower costing mortgage insurance, and we work with different local governments and nonprofit organizations like Piedmont Housing to help provide subsidized interest rates to your borrowers. And we also provide tax credits on borrowers' federal income tax returns, or that will lower their tax liability dollar for dollar by the amount of our credits. So the good thing about using us and using these tools that we offer is that you don't have to deal directly with us. We provide them through the local lenders that you already know, that you trust, and that you're working with, and you get to use them in conjunction with the different loan programs that you're already used to using, like FHA and conventional and USDA and VA. So everything about what we bring to the table, you can add into what you already know and use it in the way that you're already doing things, which makes us remarkably easy to get to work with. So if you would like to learn more about how we can help you sell more houses and how we can help you improve or increase those first-time home buyership numbers in 2022, please call me at 804-762-3078, and I would love to come to your local offices and provide lunch to you and do a short presentation for all the agents in your office on how we can be better business partners in 2022. Again, congratulations to all the officers that are going to be sworn in today. I look forward to working with each one of you, and I hope you guys have a great 2022.
Thank you, Frank. At this point, we will now move into the proposed 2021 CAAR bylaws changes. During review of the CAAR bylaws, a new version of Article 11, Officers and Directors, Section 5, Election of Officers and Directors, has been proposed. The updated language provides a more inclusive and engaging approach to nominating and electing Board of Director members. The effort was originally initiated by immediate past President Tom Woolfolk, and him, along with a large group of others, made it their mission to have it completed by the end of this year. Considering the amount of time, discussion, and real intention that went into these proposed changes, I would be amiss if I didn't acknowledge the Nomination Procedures Review project team members who appear on the screen. And a special thank you to Chair Rachel Burns and your dedicated team. I know that you all spent a lot of energy, emotion, and time to try and really not just be the voice of the Realtor, but the voice of each Realtor. And I so appreciate your support. Links to the original and proposed bylaws were sent to the Realtor membership a week ago. Those links have also been shared in the Zoom chat now. They are also included in the email you received from CAAR at 9 a.m. this morning. In that email, you will be given directions on how to vote. Please note that only CAAR primary and secondary Realtor members can vote. Affiliate members, non-member salespersons, and MLS only members are not eligible. The email you received this morning gives you two options for voting. The first option, and probably the most simple, is the online ballot. The second option is the fillable PDF, which you can return by fax, email, or drop off at the CAAR office today. Please encourage colleagues in your offices to participate in the election before 5 p.m. today. And I really just can't tell you again how excited I am to have this before you. That being done, I am honored to welcome our next speaker, Dominic Starzia, former head coach of UVA men's lacrosse. Certainly, Dom knows what it takes to create enthusiasm and lead a team to victory, as he has won 4 NCAA national championships in 1999, 2003, 2006, and 2011. Dom, welcome.
Trying to get the video on. Here we go. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be with you today. David Sloan and I and another friend have coffee every couple of weeks and solve most of the world's problems. And that's probably where this all started. My topic today is aspire to lead. You may be aware that I'm coaching lacrosse again out at Blue Ridge School. After having coached college lacrosse for 42 years and then 2 years in the pros, I came to fully realize that what I really love is the process of coaching. Walking in the locker room at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hanging around the players in the weight room, yapping at them on the practice field, and especially the relationships developed. I have the luxury at this point in my life / career to not have to worry too much about the W's and L's. I'm helping some young people grow up using lacrosse as my tool. I'd like to jump ahead for a second as I was thinking about this conversation, specifically with all of you. It reminded me of 2 of the great revelations early in my career that would seem to apply across the board. The first is that I may not be too smart, but I quickly came to realize that I was a better coach when I had good players. And second, more importantly, recruiting was going to take up so much of my life that I truly needed to learn how to enjoy the process. I was blessed to have only worked at 2 great schools. I was at Brown University before I came to UVA, but being open during the recruiting process, allowing myself to be vulnerable, making it personal, paying attention to the details in a recruit or a client's life and others worked for me, and I believe would work for you. Now let's backtrack a bit. My background: I was born in New York City, a first generation to come to college in my family, son of a New York City cop. Got recruited to play football in college. I'd never seen lacrosse before I arrived at Brown University in the fall of 1970. So the first thing for me is that it's, I'm sort of an example of anything is possible. When I talk to young people, I emphasize that point all the time. I got to UVA in the spring of 1992. My first spring season was 93. We had a pretty good season. 94, we wound up actually made a surprising run to the NCAA finals. Got to overtime of the NCAA finals my second year here. I remember walking off the field when I first got here. Virginia hadn't won a national championship in 20 years, and so clearly that was the charge: is that to try to get Virginia back to that point where we could contend for championships. And so in my second year, we're in overtime of the championship game. We wound up losing that game, but I remember distinctly walking off the field and thinking to myself, we're going to win 100. This is easy. We're going to win 100 of these things. It's only my second year. We're already in the finals. We got back to the Final Four in 90. The next year in 95, we don't win. In 96, we actually played through again to the NCAA finals, overtime of the NCAA finals again. I can remember distinctly, we're in the huddle to start the overtime. We started with a face-off, and we used 2 face-off guys that year and 2 face-off guys throughout that game. I didn't know which of the 2 guys was going to take the face-off to start the overtime. It's a sudden victory kind of a situation. And one of the face-off boys was a big football kid, head and shoulders taller than most of the guys. I look across the huddle. His name was David Wren. David looks at me. We make eye contact. He mouths the words, "I got this one, coach." And so I'm thinking here, okay, UVA hasn't won a national championship in 25 years. You couldn't ask for a better reaction from a young man than what David's was in that situation. And we went out to have the face-off to start the overtime. He couldn't have lost the face-off any faster. If he had just taken the ball and rolled it to the other team, the Princeton player picked it up, put it in the back of the net, and we lost again. And so what I began to come to terms with at that point in my career is that it's hard to win. I've often said that, people of value have scars. You look at Bill Belichick's career in Cleveland. Tom Brady was one of the last draft choices. Brian Boland, the tennis coach at UVA, who was so successful before he left, lost a lot of NCAA tournament games, matches early in his career. And so the lesson for here is to don't fear failure. Learn from your mistakes. It's not the losing that cripples you; it's the reaction to the losing and to the winning, for that matter. We wind up pushed through. Won my first national championship in 1999. Virginia's first in 27 years at that point. And the question I often get asked is why? How did it happen? And my answer is always the same. It is internal leadership, the leadership from within. I have been around some really good teams in my career, and if there was a common denominator, a common thread that ran through all those teams, it was having at least one person from within the group that was willing to stand out among their peers, outline the mission, lead by example, and make it very clear that anything that deviated from that goal would be unacceptable. It sounds easier than it is, because genuine, effective leadership is never at its best served top down. A coach, a boss, a teacher can show the way, but leadership is transcendent when born of spontaneous combustion and needs to bubble up from within. That person or persons actually are the ones that take the team down that path. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the qualities of individual leadership. I get asked that question often. We could debate and talk about these for some time, but I'd like to just tick off a few quickly. The first one that I always refer to when people ask me about the individual qualities is fearlessness. When I'm talking to young people in particular, you can all appreciate how difficult it is to stand up in front of your peers and say the right thing. And sometimes standing up in front of your boss, to represent your teammates or your coworkers, and when things need to be said. Selflessness, perhaps the highest human ideal, putting someone else's welfare ahead of your own. Honesty, which is the foundation of trust, which is the glue on a team or in an office. So I always tell the players. I met with the team at Blue Ridge last night, as a matter of fact, and we talked about this very thing. And I talked to them and mentioned to them that there's no compromise on this one. We need to be honest and truthful in every instance. Lying always requires more lying, and it's sort of an endless cycle that you want to avoid at all costs. Hard work. You don't have to be the biggest, the fastest, and the strongest, but if you want to be that leader, then your effort needs to be so. When you're turning to one of your teammates or one of your coworkers and say, we need to do more, they need to know that you're doing everything that you can possibly do all the time. Toughness. In my world, toughness is not about taking somebody's head off. Toughness is about the trademark characteristic for me with toughness has always been consistency. It's doing the right thing, doing it every time, doing it when it needs to be done. Really important. Self-discipline, again, speaks to moral authority. Again, maybe when I'm, maybe more practical when I'm talking to younger people. I tell these young guys all the time, hey fellas, you can't be a knucklehead 22 hours a day and expect to be the leader that we need when you're over here 2 hours in the afternoon for practice. Leadership is something you need to practice all the time, even when you're away from the locker room and the practice field and the office and places like that. And the final one is a resilient spirit, a sense of humor, a light touch, an easy smile. It's interesting that when I Googled this topic earlier, when I first started to think about this, the thing that kept coming up in this area was the military guys, was Dwight Eisenhower, who said that, who I read was saying that sense of humor is one of the key ingredients of being a good leader. And it makes sense. It just makes you easier to listen to when you're pleasant, and so I think that's really important. Are you leadership material? All the outstanding leaders I have encountered in my life have demonstrated each of these qualities in some elevated supply. So we finally win in '99. Your office has a great year. Then the question becomes, how do we sustain excellence? I think most everyone would agree that sustaining may be a more formidable chore than even winning for the first time, although we were under a lot of pressure to win going into that '99 season. Heightened expectations is a very real phenomenon and can be uniquely burdensome if not handled properly. What is the secret sauce to maintaining a championship level of peak performance? Maybe two things. The first is creating an environment where individual talents can flourish. Encouraging people to fail, knowing that people will learn to stretch by living near the edge. And we want them to think in those terms. And don't be afraid of a little chaos, in the office or on a team, a practice situation. We want people to learn to think on the fly. And sometimes, like I say, we may not be able to anticipate the answers in every situation. We need people to be able to figure those things out on their own. Those chaotic situations can oftentimes encourage creative thinking. A positive language. This one, I think, when I'm talking to coaches in particular, and everybody's always, you can talk about this and about that, different situations that come up in lacrosse or on an athletic field, but people always want to know about, can you help us actually win, Dom? How do you help us win? And I would suggest to you, as I tell them all the time, is that the use of positive language will help you win games. It made me a better coach when I came to understand that. Generally, people of authority and in my position in coaching, we're oftentimes the smartest, the most clever people on the field. But we have to be really careful. And these young people in particular give us a lot of ammunition for sarcasm. I had to learn to bite my tongue. You never want to make comments to coworkers or athletes that are personal or derogatory. You just never can take those back. They never forget, and you can never take it back. And so it's really important. You'll be better. Your team will be better if you can use positive language as often as possible. Make it personal. Make your relationships personal with your coworkers and your players. My mantra in the recruiting was to make it personal. Don't take it personally. So when a boy decided to go to a different school, I would just turn around and go find the next client or the next prospect. But within that process, I wanted to be able to show somebody some of my vulnerability. I wanted to know about his and all. I wanted to recruit the family, so to speak. Getting to know people on that level is really important. And the relationships that I've developed over the years, the deepest ones are the ones when I have been in a situation where a young man has been able to be, shown me the vulnerable side of himself, and he's seen that in me. Be a good listener. You learn to truly value what people have to say. We sometimes take this for granted, but it's really important. And the final one in this category is, for me, is I call do your own laundry. When I first was together with my wife 48 years ago, when we first living together, I remember I had a big pile of dirty laundry in my hand and turned to her and said, what do you want me to do with this? And she looked at me and basically said, I don't care what you do with it. And from that moment going forward, I have done my own laundry all these years. And the metaphor is simply to lead by example. We don't ask the people around us to do anything that we wouldn't be willing to do ourselves. And we do all the little things. Again, talking to the players last night, I was talking about this very term actually, and I was just saying to them that we do whatever is required in order for our team to be successful. And to take responsibility. The office, the locker room, the practice field, that's your classroom. and you need to you're responsible for what happens in those settings. And so it's really important to take responsibility. The second one is to, in terms of sustaining excellence, I believe, is to surround yourself with quality people. Look for all the qualities that we talked about above. Does talent matter? Yes, of course it matters. I often have told my teams, hey fellas, we are not as talented as you think we are. We are definitely not as talented as your parents think we are, but we're probably talented enough to win. And it may be the same case with the people in your office. We want to encourage people to disagree. We talked about this a little bit above. Agreeable disagreements, I think, are healthy. You want people to be thinking and not be afraid to ask questions and question what the information that you put out there. You want people to have a profound understanding of the concepts of what you're trying to do. You want to strengthen your team from the bottom up. Convince everyone that everyone matters. We had in 2003, we were going to the NCAA semifinals, and on the Thursday evening before the Saturday games, the semifinal games on Saturday, on Thursday evening, the NCAA hosted a banquet for the 4 teams, and each of the teams would have one of their players get up and speak to the group, just give a short talk and representing their school. And we went last, probably alphabetical, and I don't want to embarrass the other schools that were there, Hopkins, Maryland, and Syracuse, but each of those players that got up for those schools to speak at that banquet, one was a little bit more embarrassing than the other. Just talking about, you guys better be ready tomorrow. We're gonna kick your butt, this and that, and then our guy got up and spoke, and his name was, if you followed Lacrosse or you followed us closely, even that year in 2003, you might not have seen Hatcher Sneed on the field at all. Hatcher was a Western Albemarle grad, and his dad is Jim Sneed Ford over in Waynesboro, and Hatcher got up and gave the most inspiring Memorial Day weekend speech you ever heard. Lifted our entire team. We floated out of that room after Hatcher got done talking. And to this day, and I've said these very things in front of other players that we have on those teams, and I've said that Hatcher had as much to do with us winning that weekend as anything else that wound up happened. He didn't get on the field, but we wound up, we'll beat the 2 higher seeded teams in the semifinals and finals and won that national championship. And so it matters. I would tell you to identify, encourage, and nurture the leaders in your group. Sometimes you sense it walking in the room. And then finally, a young coach asked me a year or so ago about some advice. He was going to be his first time as a head coach. And I said to him to be your authentic self. I think those things are very important. And finally, as I wind down here, it's worth it. If you ask me to boil down into one sentence, what has I been doing these past 47 years? It has been trying to convince young men that it's worth the sacrifices that are required to be successful. If leadership is defined as an individual's ability to influence others, hardly an hour has gone by in my life when I was not considering how to make that point more effectively. But that's it. Gathering good people and convincing them it is worth the sacrifices, whatever it is you're asking them to do. Don't be afraid to tell them it's hard. Hard reminds us that the endeavor is meaningful. In fact, if it doesn't feel hard, tell them they're not working hard enough at it. At the same time, don't forget to tell them that there's hardly anything more worthwhile than can be attained by accomplishing something as a group. One last thought, it's how you treat people that will ultimately define the measure of your ability to lead them. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you, Dom. Thank you for joining us. Before you go, I wanted to share that as a thank you, CAAR has contributed funds for the scholarship in your name with Harlem Lacrosse. We really appreciate your efforts to propel young minds to achieve their on and off the field goals.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Before we move on to the installation ceremonies, I wanted to highlight a few of our association's accomplishments in 2021. Things that were done by your master group members, your project teams, your council members, and the board of directors. It's been an unpredictable and challenging year, And in spite of it all, and some really lofty and high goals, the association has come together to adapt to a new normal and to move forward on things that we find we hold dear to our hearts. In the Communication Master Group, we encouraged members to raise over $7,500, which was matched by a $5,000 donation for Virginia Estates to supply 8 of the 11 mobile food pantries with fresh produce and shelf-stable proteins to an average of 175 families per distribution center for the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. We were awarded a 2000 Virginia Realtors Community Engagement Grant, which went towards 2 initiatives. The first, promoting realtors in the community and encouraging members and the public to participate in the virtual Albemarle Housing Improvement Program, 5K for 5K. The second was sponsoring the Rural Housing Challenges and Solutions panel discussion hosted by the Central Virginia Regional Housing Partnership. The MLS Master Group initiated, negotiated, and finalized a Bright MLS data share agreement, which enhanced our data distribution to members beyond the CAAR footprint. And in addition, met again with the Harrison-Rockingham Association and the Greater Augusta Association of Realtors to implement various MLS system updates and continue that data share. The Operations Master Group monitored financial stability throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, provided feedback on all of the plans that went through, like the strategic plan and the bylaws change, as well as monetary support to association initiatives like the upcoming Fair Housing campaign. Professional development researched and selected topics and speakers for GMMs and the education calendar. They partnered with the Blue Ridge Home Builders Association to deliver a Green Building Latte and Learn series. Public Affairs Master Group held various candidate funding project team meetings, determined potential endorsements for candidates for Charlottesville City Council and Board of Supervisors for Albemarle, Fluvanna, and Greene counties. Additionally, on Monday, they will be hosting a hybrid legislative breakfast where local delegates will discuss topics such as association healthcare and items on the proposed 2022 Virginia Realtors legislative agenda. We encourage you all to attend that virtually or in person. As ever, the Charlottesville Young Professionals Network delivered top-notch speakers and value to our young real estate professionals to connect, learn, and grow with both in-person and virtual events. Additionally, they donated to multiple nonprofits totaling over $16,400. And as I speak this very moment, are fulfilling wishes for 100 local Salvation Army Angels. The Commercial Council met regularly, reviewed and recommended an extension of CAAR's current commercial platform contract. And the newly formed Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council established their mission, vision, and value statements, have already contributed important input towards the review of governing documents, and are nurturing the newly formed partnership between CAAR and the Real Estate Brokers Realtist chapter of Richmond. Again, on Monday, there will be a powerful broker discussion on audio video surveillance and love letters and its effect on fair housing. This will be a virtual class in the afternoon on Monday. I would also like to thank both the Broker Council and the Past President's Council as they continue to offer advice, feedback, and otherwise help us just hone and prevent a better plan and better activities for you each year. All of these volunteers have offered CAAR a trusted and experienced perspective as we manage association operations. The RPAC committee, as you've heard about, has been amazingly successful this year, raising over $82,000 with the 59% membership participation. And as of the end of November, we have 35 major investors. Those are members who have given $1,000 or more to RPAC. Thank you to everybody that has contributed regardless of the amount. Each dollar counts and supports the voice of the realtor across the state. Since we have exceeded our 2021 RPAC goals, we are thrilled to share that we will receive the National Association of Realtors Triple Crown Award for the 7th consecutive year. And even all of that does not begin to catalog the many hours of long work, thoughtful insight, and commitment to making us not just a great association, but a leader in the Commonwealth amongst realtors and an example for others. If you listened to other words that were said here earlier today, there were comments on self-discipline and sarcasm, which I wish I had heard a year ago. But there was also a lot of commentary on serving on the board and serving on the executive. And it's very true. It's work, it is service, and it is a group of people that give up their own time to work on your behalf to make us not just better at real estate transactions, but better realtors, which is a higher calling than just being an agent. As we move through and get ready to install our new board, I want to thank each and every one of the volunteers that represent over 13% of our membership. We'd love to see that number go up. And they give of their time, their expertise, and they have a commitment to making us better. They've made a tremendous difference. If you have not volunteered or you're interested in volunteering with CAAR next year, please complete a 2022 volunteer form. I promise you, you will gain a lot from volunteering. I also wanted to recognize several of our board members who are leaving the board terms this year. As president, I get told a lot of times, good year, good year. And honestly, it's more the people around me and the folks that do the work, from staff to board to project teams and master groups. Our 2021 outgoing board members are Rachel Burns, Ann Burrows, who's moving from a director position to be treasurer, Rachel Foster, Tom Pace, John Seidler, and Tom Wolfolk. Thank you for the commitment you made and the ideas that you brought forward to CAAR as members of the board of directors throughout your years of service. It was an honor to meet and work with such distinguished individuals, and I got to see them earlier this month and present each of them with a token of appreciation, which I'm hoping they'll keep in your office. They are letter openers, but they're really pointy, so don't make them angry. This is the last time I get to stand up here and be in control of things, and I think you try to be really profound and have something really meaningful to say, and it's really overwhelming to try and narrow it down. But as I go through, I still go back to when I stood here before and we talked about the preamble to the Code of Ethics, which says that we strive to maintain and improve the calling of our industry and to be better. And there's not a person in the room with me today, on the boards or the master groups, or any of the colleagues that I hold dearly that don't live that. If you go back to my term in the executive committee, Teely was president first, and she did not get the year that she expected. This was followed by Tom, who did not get the year that he expected. And yet they both moved from the idea of service and commitment to making us better each year. It's really hard to describe, but it's good. And I got to, well, there's so many people I would love to give awards to, but Abby says that there's a limit to how many awards I can hand out, something to do with budget and time. So I did have to trim it down, but there are so many others that have really driven home to me over the years that being a real estate agent is about transactions. Being a realtor is about community and home. Home means a lot of things to many different people. Home means wealth building. Home means security and consistency with a payment that doesn't change. For the last 2 years, home has been where we've worked. It's where we've taught our children. It's where we've waved to our neighbors from the front porch because we weren't allowed to cross the street. And most recently, it's been where we've been able to hold Thanksgiving. The things that we do and the community we serve, we have a business and a transaction relationship, and those are super important. But we also have and bear out a commitment to community. Home can be so many things and can even be a place of safety. If you think of the Michigan school shooting and Kimberly Restock, who lived across the street, standing in her front yard, hearing the gun popping, who opened her door and shuffled high school students into her house to hide. Home means many things, and we are the guardians of those meanings that are most important. And so many people have taught that to me and convinced me to be a part of this. And I did have a chance to give them an award. And so for 2021, the President's Awards go to Rachel Burns, Keith Davis, and Pat Whittam. 3 persons who have really personified our commitments to charity, thoughtful discussion to do better, an embracing and love of the Code of Ethics, and the ability to be conscientious competitors in a way that we all improve and the client and our community stays first. And since nobody can stop me, I have a 4th thing I would like to give out. We were a little behind, so I was trying to speed up, and now I have extra time, so I get to do what I want. When we entered the pandemic and I realized that I was going to be running board meetings and doing GMMs from home, I ordered something for myself. And there's nothing more fun or pleasing than having a gavel to pound around. It really does make you feel powerful in a situation where you're otherwise powerless. And to remind myself, I had engraved on the end of it, zealous to maintain and improve the standards of their calling. Because it is not just a job if you're going to be a realtor, it is a calling. And I would like to present this to Denise Ramey to carry forward into her presidency at the state level.
I'm so proud. You've done a great job. Thank you so much.
There's a long line of presidents, which I expect to continue, that has helped CAAR to not just be better, but to lead in being better. Our actions for diversity, our actions for charity, the vote for the bylaws that's happening as we speak, we're steps ahead of the other associations in the area. And this is recognized at the state in its election of our member to be president and our representatives in the various committees, project teams, and presidential advisory groups. And so I hope that you continue to make us all better across the state. And I appreciate your support in helping me be a participant. That being done, it is my pleasure to welcome Kim Armstrong, Realtors Political Action Committee Chair, to perform the oaths for our incoming leadership and the 2022 officers and directors. Kim.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm just going to pretend that you're all out here in front of me. Let's see here. Okay, so we will first induct the 2022 Board of Officers and Directors and then install our president separately. Since we'll be executing the oath virtually, I ask each officer and director to show their video and unmute as I announce their name. The following members have been newly elected as officers and directors. S. Lisa Herndon, President-elect. Ann Burrows, Treasurer. Keith Davis, Director. Josh White, Director. Woody Fincham, Director. Amanda Spagoni, Director. Candace Vanderlinde, Director. And Ben Reeves, Director. I will now announce the returning officers and directors. Quentin Beckham, if you would please come back up here. He's our immediate past president. And then Reeves Bailey, Director, Ginger Slavic, Director, Georgia Lindsay, Director, and Keith Smith, Director. It is assumed by your acceptance of your offices in the Board of Directors for the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors that you are in full accord with the objectives of this local association, the Virginia Realtors, and the National Association of Realtors. These objectives are to encourage and foster high ethical standards in our profession, to take an active interest in the welfare of your city, county, and state, to develop service as the basis of worthy enterprise, to interchange ideas, business methods, and transactions with other realtors, and to oppose harmful legislation and to strive for legislation beneficial to real estate and property ownership. The obligations are to attend meetings regularly and to fill your respective offices in a manner which reflects positively on the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors, on the state and national associations, and on yourself. To make the decisions your office requires, and to see that the various committees perform their duties as delegated. I'll now administer the oath of office. Please raise your right hand. Do each of you solemnly and sincerely promise that you will administer the office to which you have been elected to the best of your ability and judgment and in conformity with the bylaws of your association, that you will observe and enforce the Realtor Code of Ethics, that you will uphold and support your local, state, and national associations, that you will uphold and support the Virginia Real Estate Board and its enforcement of the license law, that you will, in all of your acts, be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, and fair play, and in every manner possible endeavor to promote and safeguard the best interests of our state, the high purpose of your association, and the welfare of its members. If you so subscribe, please answer by saying, I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I do proclaim you are officially installed to the office to which you have been elected. Officers and directors, you may hide your camera and mute yourself again. I would like to share, Keith Davis wasn't able to join us this morning. Therefore, he was installed by immediate past President Beckham last week. So while COVID has prevented us from inviting all of the CAAR past presidents for the traditional passing of the gavel, we are honored to have past President Representative Percy Montague with us today. I would like to invite Percy up to the podium. Thank you.
On behalf of the Past Presidents Council, I congratulate you, Pam, on being chosen to be president of the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors. When I was driving over here today, I stopped to think that of all the members of this association, Pam is my oldest friend. And after I thought that's probably not the right way to put it. So let's just say I've known her the longest. Pam and I met in second grade, and although she was very precocious and is much younger than I am, we did spend 7 years in grade school together. So congratulations. Your election shows the confidence of your fellow realtors and your ability to be their leader, and affirms your position as our association's chief elected officer. I commend you for accepting this role, confident that you have the present and future best interests of the association at heart. Being the chief officer of a volunteer association is in itself a challenge, but it's much easier when you have really good staff, so you're in good shape there. But when the organization is a voluntary assemblage of competitors, the chief elected officer's role is incrementally more challenging. It will be essential that during your tenure as leader, you demonstrate your understanding of your fellow realtors as both clients and your competitors. That reality challenges you to ensure that the goals, policies, and strategies of our association continue to inure to the benefit of members for whom our association exists. The past presidents wish you every good fortune as a new leader of CAAR and stand ready to assist with their advice and counsel when you require it. Since the other past presidents were not able to attend your installation in person, each one provided a word to describe their presidency. These words were then created into a piece of word art, which we would like to show you now on the screen. I hope that these words will give you inspiration as you steer our association in 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Percy. So I would like to hand you the gavel and ask that you please position yourself as far right of the podium as you can. I'm that little spot there. And then next, I would like to invite Denise to stand next to Percy and Quentin next to Denise. Okay, and then Pam, please stand next to Quentin and face me at the podium. All right, Mr. Cursor. Okay, Pam, you've been elected to the office of President of the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors for 2022. Will you accept this position? If so, please answer, yes, I will.
Yes, I will.
The preamble to the Realtor Code of Ethics states, that realtors are zealous to maintain and improve the standards of their calling and share with their fellow realtors a common responsibility for its integrity and honor. Your role as an officer of the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors places you at the center of this responsibility as a guardian of our profession and of property rights. Your conduct must be model of the Realtors Code of Ethics. Your knowledge about the real estate industry must be up to date, and your commitment and attitude about realtor leadership should be inspiring to those who someday will follow you. As always, remember to strike a healthy balance between your realtor responsibilities with those of your business, your health, and your family. The integrity and honor you bring to this organization must always be founded on the strength of your business and personal life. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and swear that you will administer the office to which you have been elected to the best of your ability and judgment in conformity with the Constitution and bylaws of this association, that you will observe and enforce the Realtor Code of Ethics, that you will uphold and support the Virginia license law and applicable rules, that you will actively support the mission and objectives of this association, as well as those of the Virginia Realtors and National Association of Realtors, that you will, in all of your actions, be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, and fair play, and promote and safeguard the best interests of the Realtor Association and the welfare of its memberships. Do you so subscribe? Please answer, yes, I will.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Now, the passing of the gavel. So it carries with it the duties and responsibilities of the presidency of this association. It should always be used judiciously with wisdom, vision, honor, and integrity. So Pam, you now have your gavel. Now I do hereby proclaim to you to be duly installed into the office of president of this association. Although you are back in. Thank you. So Percy and Denise, thank you for being part of the ceremony. So please join me as we return to our seats.
Quentin, please, could you please stay with me?
Sure.
I'd like to sincerely thank Quentin for his dedication, his leadership to CAAR as president for the past year. Quentin, you've done an extraordinary job leading our association. I've got big shoes to follow. I really think you've been amazing. And we have a few tokens of appreciation, including a gavel pack, a past president's pin, and a generous gift card to one of your favorite restaurants, Tavola.
Thank you.
And also, we are pleased and honored to know that you'll be serving the Virginia Realtors in 2022 on their board of directors alongside of President Denise Ramey. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if I could get the,
It's
there
a
we
strong
go.
magnet.
It really is. Stay on. Thank you so
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
your service.
Thank you.
Okay, I would not be standing here today without the support of the people in my life. I would especially like to thank my daughters Bailey Dent, who's here with us this morning, and Gwen Ellis, who's in Colorado. Both are amazing women, always offering encouragement for whatever path I've chosen to follow. I'd also like to thank my partner, Steve Boyle, who has driven uncomplainedly endless miles across Virginia to look at property and has without complaint rescheduled activities on what seems like every vacation we've been on so that I can deal with whatever real estate issue that has happened to prop up. Additionally, I appreciate all that Gail Harvey, Kim Armstrong, my assistant Linda Lewis, and co-list Bridget Archer do for me every day. It truly takes a village. 16 years ago, I never would have imagined that I would be standing here today. For many years, I had trained and sold horses for a profession. Out-of-state clients would fly in after telling me what kind of horse they were looking for and their price range. We'd travel around Virginia looking at horses that I had selected for them. And at the end of the day, they would hopefully choose one. Then I would negotiate the price and supervise the vetting. Sounds sort of like being a buyer's agent, doesn't it? But with a whole lot less paperwork. Well, due to unexpected life changes, it was necessary for me to have an accompanying career change. I was at a dog show in Kentucky with my very dear friend, Peggy Kessler, whose corgis I showed, wondering what in the world I was going to do. Peggy looked at me and said, "You're going to get your real estate license and you are going to come to work with our company and you will be successful." My goodness. It's a gift to have someone who believes in you at times more than you believe in yourself. And you know, that is something to be encouraging to all those people and pay it forward as you're thinking about, you know, the people you come into contact with in this business. I'm honored and humbled to be the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors 2022 president. I like to think back to the CAAR leaders who stood before me, each one with their own leadership style, but united in their service to the association. As I ponder what this association means to me, the first word that comes to mind is community. Our membership is united in the goal of furthering homeownership. Nothing's more important than home and family, and we are lucky to be able to help many people throughout Central Virginia achieve that dream. While we may be competitors, we are most importantly friends, colleagues, and neighbors. We are a community of realtors working together, but we are also part of the larger Central Virginia community. United, we are stronger than any one of us alone. While the pandemic slowed down production for many organizations, CAAR creatively used Zoom and technology to stay connected and move forward. The association's work never halted. Instead, it ramped up. This year, we had over 130 members volunteer on a master group, project team, or committee. I sincerely appreciate the hours of service that these members have given to our association, and I hope that we will be able to encourage even more of our membership to become involved. I would like to say thank you to those members who not only share their expertise and time with CAAR, but also serve on a nonprofit, school, church, or other entity that makes a positive impact on our community. As we look towards 2022, I hope to set an example for you to lead from. I'm proud to be a Realtors Political Action Committee major investor since 2017, and I would love for CAAR to be visibly seen as a primary advocate for homeownership, affordable housing, fair housing, and importantly, housing for all in our Virginia community. There are many ways in which we can promote the Realtor voice, both individually and as an association. One great way is to support RPAC, which elevates awareness of issues that impact the way the industry operates. RPAC supports legislators and candidates who support realtor issues, ensuring an environment of opportunity. It also facilitates the attention that we bring to regulations and policies that affect home buyers and property rights. Last year, President Tom Wolfak challenged the membership to earn the National Association of Realtors Commitment to Excellence, or C2EX endorsement, and many did, myself included. This complimentary program empowers realtors to evaluate, enhance, and showcase their highest levels of professionalism. I ask you to prove your professionalism to yourself, clients, and community by achieving this endorsement. This year, immediate past President Quentin Beckham, Virginia Realtors, and the National Association of Realtors challenged and encouraged us to celebrate, embrace, and empower diversity. I've completed the complimentary NAR Fairhaven training, and I was extremely proud to see CAAR recognized for having the largest membership percentage of Fairhaven completion in the Virginia Realtors President's Challenge. Fairhaven was launched last year, and it is quickly becoming one of the best and most impactful trainings NAR has provided us. It's a fair housing simulation that uses storytelling to help members identify, prevent, and address discriminatory practices in real estate. I encourage you to become a stronger advocate for fair housing and complete this training. You will only benefit from it. Another way for you to challenge yourself to be better, both professionally and personally, is completing the NAR at Home with Diversity course. I was fortunate to complete the course with instructor Margot Wheeler last week, and I can't tell you how much I gained from the content, as well as the information and experiences shared by Margot and the other attendees. The course provided such powerful insight that I would like our entire leadership, the board, chairs, and vice chairs of groups, and future leaders of the Pat Jensen Leadership Academy to complete the course and achieve the certification. As I mentioned earlier, CAAR has made tremendous strides, and you can see that in its growing structure. This year, we added a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council and established the CAAR Foundation. These two powerful additions will dovetail eloquently with our new 2022 through 2024 strategic plan. I request that you review the strategic plan in its entirety and volunteer to help us achieve the priorities and initiatives set forth. This plan was developed internally and included various perspectives and feedback collected from member surveys, focus groups, and countless meetings. The level of commitment and care that went into this strategic plan truly reflects our new cultural and core values. I take pride in what CAAR has accomplished, and I'm excited and ready to put the work in to build a diverse, equitable, and inclusive association that equips members to grow as ethical and responsible professionals. Now the question is, are you? As I mentioned, CAAR has a new 2022 through 2024 strategic plan, which is included in your handouts for today. I would like to briefly go over some highlights, which I hope will inspire you to get involved as a volunteer. CAAR's new mission is to build a diverse, equitable, and inclusive association that equips members to grow as ethical and responsible professionals. To achieve this, we will cultivate the following values within our association: collaboration, transparency, accountability, integrity, inclusivity, and diversity. We will deliver the outlined 4 priorities and various initiatives using our tools, systems, knowledge, advocacy, and collaboration. This is your association, so please get involved, volunteer, and lend your expertise. To set our association up for success for next year, we need strong leadership. I'm honored to share the list of our 2022 chairs and vice chairs of our various master groups and councils. To conclude this morning's meeting, I would like to welcome the following new Realtor members. In addition, I would like to welcome the following new affiliate members. As a reminder, Realtors can find a list of our affiliate companies using the affiliates icon on the single sign-on dashboard. Then, since the bylaws vote is open until 5 p.m. today, I will not officially adjourn the meeting. However, I will thank you for joining and wish you a happy holidays.